Ronald Masinda now, who's in Cape Town, and before he was on a metro rail. Ronald, I can see now you're in a taxi. You've got those lovely boom box just on top of you, those speakers. Tell us about your ride. I asked about the COVID-19 protocols to Lindo, who was on a taxi in Johannesburg. Are those protocols being observed in the taxi that you're in right now in Cape Town?
Yes, indeed, Tony. Well, we are all wearing our masks, and we are also having sanitizer so that we can keep our hands sanitized. But as you know, the taxi industry here is considered as one of the most reliable forms of transportation. Earlier on, we were on the train where we arrived an hour late, and this was a distance of roughly 12 kilometers. But one of the main concerns with the taxi industry is the issue of safety. Now, since the beginning of the year, we understand that 25 people have been killed due to taxi violence, with 11 fatally wounded people, where attempted murder cases have since been opened. And it is cause for concern for many people, not only the taxi owners, but also the passengers. But I will start off with the taxi owner. Naeem Isaacs has been in the taxi industry for the past 6 years. It is a family business. Naeem, thank you so much for your time. You've also mentioned earlier on that you've also lost several friends in the taxi industry, and there was also attempts on your brother's life. Tell us more.
Yeah, I can't tell you much detail about how it goes because you don't know who's going to find out. But my brother's taxi was shot 27 times right in front of our house, and I have 2 friends that was also shot in front of their house, totally wounded.
And does this not concern you on a daily basis, given that you're also a family man who is trying to put food on the table?
You know, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. If I have to put food on the table for my family, that's what I have to do, you understand? I don't have a choice.
And just lastly, I know that, much of the taxi violence that has occurred for many years in South Africa, not only in the Western Cape, has been about the issue of routes and permits. But you have an interesting story to tell in that you've also assisted people who couldn't afford to travel by taxi during the lockdown. Tell us more.
Yeah, I try to help wherever I can. I was raised well by my parents as a community servant. Even the children that I'm driving now, the madrasa, that we're standing in front of, a lot of times, and then the children don't have enough money for school fees or for traveling, and then I have a raffle that I have the passengers give 5 rand donations. The old people, when it's Sasa time, I drive that people for free. I even just registered my own soup kitchen. We are actually looking for sponsors because the finance, as you can see, I'm driving as a yaya. I can't even drive a Quantum because all the extra money, the excess money that I do drive, I give back to the community.
All right, Naeem, let's leave it there for now. Let's quickly bring in a passenger now, Bratoni. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. Now, the words that Naeem has just said, that a man's got to do what a man's got to do, I'm sure it doesn't, sit well with many people, passengers. Many of them have been caught in the crossfire. How do you feel traveling by taxi?
I feel very safe by traveling by taxi because it's very reliable and it's much easier to use. But for me, it's very safe, even when it comes to my children also.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that lady is saying that she feels very safe, but we do know as well that later this afternoon there will be more conversations around the taxi violence and the taxi industry, with the Western Cape Transport Department meeting quite a number of taxi associations. Now, this follows the passing of Qatar President Victor Wiwi last week, who was gunned down near Nyanga. So this and more concerns, just adding more concerns to an already industry that has been grappling with taxi violence for many years.
All right, Ronald Masinda, thank you so much. Interesting conversation there with the taxi owner. Always good to hear from the other side as well. Let's go to